Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has been declared the winner of the country's presidential election. Museveni has been in power since 1986. So this election victory extends his 4 decades in power by another 5 years. But his closest challenger, Bobi Wine, claims that the election results are fake. He alleges electoral rigging and intimidation. So what exactly happened? What does a 7th straight term for 81-year-old Museveni mean for Uganda? What could be Bobi Wine's political future after losing 2 consecutive presidential bids? And who could lead Uganda after Museveni? Let's connect the dots. The general elections occurred on January 15, 2026 for electing the president and parliament. In the presidential election, the incumbent president Yoweri Museveni of the National Resistance Movement or NRM won 71.65% of the vote. That's quite close to his highest ever tally of 74% in Uganda's first direct presidential election in 1996. Bobi Wine got 24.72% of the votes cast. This was a massive blow for Wine as his share of the vote fell from 35% in 2021. There were 6 other candidates in the fray, but none of them got more than 2% of the vote. Voter turnout was 52.5%. So what more do we know about Yoweri Museveni? And who is Bobi Wine? Museveni was a rebel commander who seized power in 1986. This ended the rule of the Milton Obote regime. He continues to be in power since and is 81 years old. Bobi Wine is a charismatic former pop star. He is far younger as he is 43 years old. His real name is Robert Kyagulanyi. His political party is the main opposition party of Uganda. It is called National Unity Platform or NUP. Now let's listen to the voice of one Ugandan voter.
I would love to expect change. Understand? Not basing on the fact that we've had leadership for, I would say, 40 years, but basing on the fact that we are a new kind of breed, we are a new kind of generation that needs fresh brain. You understand? I'll tell you, my leader, who is the current president, to me he's a wonderful person, but I would really say we need someone new, we need someone fresh. He needs to guide the new person into leadership.
So why does Bobi Wine say that the election was neither credible nor legitimate? Wine alleges widespread electoral fraud. This includes ballot stuffing and fake tallies. He points to how biometric voter kits failed in opposition strongholds. This means that kits could not verify voter identities in opposition areas. Wine says his rallies faced tear gas, live rounds, arrests and beatings, unlike Museveni's events.
They've tear gassed us, including tear gassing the rallies, peacefully assembled rallies, and then they launched tear gas into the rallies. A lot of impunity has been ongoing, unfortunately, under the watch and conspicuous silence of the Electoral Commission.
The United Nations and Amnesty condemned such treatment of the opposition as repression. A nationwide internet blackout had crippled communication. NUP leaders like Bobi Wine say this hindered sharing of evidence of electoral fraud and mobilization of people against it. Wine says it hid cheating, but authorities claim it stopped misinformation. Remember, Wine had rejected the 2021 results too. Then too he had cited similar fraud. Wine alleges that the 2 constitutional amendments brought by Museveni's regime that removed term limits and age caps for presidential elections were a trick to control elections forever. When votes were being counted on January 16 and 17, Wine posted on X that police and army raided his Magere home in Kampala.
My wife and I have been under house arrest since the 15th of January when we had elections. And yesterday, our house was raided by some police officers together with a number of other unknown individuals in plain clothes. I was able to use my skills and escape my house, but I know they're looking for me. But even if they succeed and get me and do whatever, I want to say this to you, fellow Ugandans. First and foremost, we reject whatever is being declared by Mr. Byabakama, because those so-called results that they're declaring are fake and they don't in any way reflect what happened at the polling stations.
After the election, Wine called for street protests against alleged electoral fraud.
We want to call upon the people of Uganda to non-violently protest and reject any effort to subvert their voice and demand that the rightful results are announced.
Wine supporters clashed with police in Kampala and Butambala district. Police said machete-wielding opposition goons attacked polling and police stations and vote tallying centers. It said 7 people were killed when police fired live rounds in self-defense. NUP MP Mubanga Kivumbi countered that 10 of his campaign agents were killed in a security raid on his Butambala home. Riots spread and authorities reportedly used tear gas, live rounds and arrests to quell the unrest. After he was declared the winner of the country's disputed election, President Museveni issued this warning to opposition supporters.
I congratulate the people of Uganda. I ask the confused people to come back to sanity, because what they are planning, what they wanted to do, we already know, and we have already mobilized together with the people. Much of it, the residual should stop, because we know we shall get all of them if they don't stop.
So what do election observers say about the fairness of Uganda's 2026 vote? They give mixed assessments. Led by former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, African Union observers raised doubts. They cited internet blackouts, rights group suspensions, military overreach, opposition arrests or abductions, and media bias.
Uganda enjoys media pluralism. However, the mission received reports of biased media coverage, with opposition parties receiving minimum coverage from both state and private media. The mission acknowledges the reliance of media on internet in obtaining and disseminating information, despite previous assurances by the Uganda Communication Commission to continued internet availability throughout the electoral period. The mission noted with concern the shutdown of the internet now still on day 5. The action has affected citizens' right to receive information, increases freedom of expression, and has also affected the effectiveness of our mission.
Yet, the Joint African Union COMESA IGAD Election Observation Mission praised calm polling days, party agent access, professional security, and women's or youth roles in staffing. They noted high invalid votes, but also transparent counting where agents watched. After Museveni's declared victory, Ugandan authorities partially restored internet services. So what was Museveni's campaign plank? Museveni promised to take Uganda to high middle-income status by 2031. He positions oil as a key driver for jobs and growth and links expected oil revenues to economic boom. He says Uganda will drill and pump crude oil from Lake Albert wells starting mid-2026. Remember, crude oil sits deep underground in fields like Tilinga, Kingfisher, and Emputa near Lake Albert. Once this oil is extracted, Museveni plans to send it through the East African Crude Oil Pipeline or EACOP to Tanzania's port for sale abroad. This, he says, will create thousands of Ugandan jobs, build infrastructure like roads and factories, and bring 1 to 2.5 billion US dollars as revenue to Uganda every year. With oil money, he promises to end poverty, grow the economy fast from 2026, and build a high middle-income Uganda by 2031. But Bobi Wine links oil talks to Museveni's repression. He slams Western backers for ignoring rights abuses while funding such projects. He had promised to review all oil contracts if elected.
As per oil, you know that agreements are even secluded. Even elected leaders cannot access them. Why? Because the country is shrunk into a personal property. We shall study all agreements, and any part in those agreements that does not favor Ugandans will definitely be revised.
So after losing 2 presidential bids, what could be Bobi Wine's political future? Questions hang over it. While optimists think he could thrive as a youth icon by regrouping NUP as Uganda's main opposition force, leveraging youth support for parliamentary gains or local power, skeptics think he could face suppression or irrelevance. Now the question is, who could lead Uganda after Museveni? That remains uncertain. At 81, Museveni shows no retirement plans. While no clear successor exists, there is speculation around Museveni's son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is the army chief of Uganda. Muhoozi's influence is growing. His loyalists have been chosen for key appointments over veterans. Muhoozi had sidelined NRM veterans through 2024 cabinet reshuffles. While Muhoozi did not himself run in the 2026 election, he mobilized his Patriotic League of Uganda or PLU network to deliver Museveni's landslide win. Analysts say his father's declared election victory proved his command over security forces, loyalist deployments, and voter turnout machines. All that is key for any future bid. As Uganda looks ahead, democracy or dynasty remain equally possible. While Uganda's 2026 election has reinforced power within the Museveni family, the country's political future remains an open question. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.